amazing. I get so excited about all the possibilities that there are because it really, truly allows us to communicate when, where, and how the prospect, the customer, wants to be communicated with.
Yes.
And at this point, people are expecting that personalization. Not just my name on the mailer that came to my house, but truly know who I am and what I am interested in and how I want to be communicated with.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Drive, Las Vegas edition. Today we are in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It is hot, but I get to hang out with one of my favorite people. I have Kirsten with the Experian Automotive. What's going on, Kirsten? How you doing?
I am doing well. So good to see you.
I know, it's been a hot minute.
And as you said, it is literally a hot minute today.
It's hot. It is hot, and we're driving a hot car. Hey, anything I can get orange. You know me. Kristen, the other night we were at a reception for this event, and she said to play like "Where's Waldo," but like "Where's Jason?" And it's like I just kind of scoped the whole 500 people. There's an orange shirt. There he is.
Exactly. Like, oh, who do I know? What's going on? Where's everybody at? And I'm like, oh, there's Jason.
I see orange. Orange. I'm going that way. Guys, this is gonna be a fun podcast. This is what happens when just a couple friends get in a car and we get to jam about stuff. Well, Kirsten, look, I appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me. This is always a lot of fun. Well, you know, I like to kick off these podcasts with a little origin story. Because I'm always fascinated, right? You know, because it's always cool to hear how people kind of fumbled their way into the automotive industry. So let's start there, Kirsten. How did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
Well, I started right after college. So I went to school for marketing, graduated with my marketing degree, and was kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? And I knew I had student loans, so I needed to do something. And I joined a small startup in Madison, Wisconsin, that was called Automotive Directions. And we were doing marketing research. And this is going to date me a little bit, but we were sending out surveys in the mail with $1 to encourage completion of the survey.
Like literally like $1, like stapled to it?
$1, yes. Mailing $1 and compiling the information and then doing a whole analysis for dealers on who their customers were, who they should market to, how they could expand and grow their business. And that evolved to a customer relationship management software solution that then a large DMS provider purchased. And I was there for a number of years. Now I'm with Experian. So I have been in auto for my entire professional career.
Because once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you're in.
Like, there's no way of getting out. It's just kind of how it is. You'll die still working in the auto industry.
Absolutely.
Actually,
I'm a lifer.
That is my goal one day, to retire and just bum around from dealership to dealership doing dealer trades for them.
Yeah.
I think that's one of like the best jobs in the automotive industry. It's a bunch of retired people just driving around, doing dealer trades. That's my retirement. There we go. I will be happy if I can.
That sounds kind of fabulous.
Well, hey, you got a cool workshop. And that's why one of the reasons I wanted to grab it, because the title was cool. I'm like, oh, that's some great content. We should do a podcast about this. So you got a workshop coming up tomorrow. Let's dive into it. Tell me a little bit about the workshop, some of the kind of the key takeaways from it. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I have had the opportunity to present at a number of different conferences, but this is my first NIADA workshop. So I'm thrilled to have that opportunity from the organization. And I am presenting tomorrow on managing your most important asset, your customer data. So we are talking all things first-party data management, what you can do, how you can manage it, and ultimately to improve your marketing and reduce the waste of your marketing spend.
Which is huge right now. I mean, look, for as long as I can remember, I mean, I think we've been telling dealers that you are sitting on a gold mine of data. Your database is a gold mine, but I think like anything that we have, let's say cars, like if we don't take care of it, if we don't update it, if we don't do maintenance on it, that data just kind of becomes old and stale and rusty, and just like a car, it'll just kind of fall apart, and it almost comes to the point where it's no longer useful anymore, right? So let's dive kind of in that. What are some of the best practices you've seen just kind of around data management and maintenance and so on?
Yeah, no, you absolutely nailed it, because it's an asset, and just like any asset, if we don't maintain it, it's going to fall into disrepair. And we need to do things to keep it updated. We need to do things to expand it. I mean, I kind of think of it as like an analogy, like your house, right? Where, all right, I've been in my current home for 10 years, and there's been some things that we had to do that were a little bit boring. Yeah. Like, okay, we needed a new roof. Not exciting, but it's a requirement. Yeah. But there's been other things where we redid the kitchen. Oh my gosh, I loved that project. We put in a patio. That was fantastic, enhancing the value of our asset as well. And data management is exactly the same. So we are going to talk tomorrow about breaking it down into 5 simple steps. So you can resolve your data.
Yes.
You want to clean it. You'll want to link it, then verify it and enrich it.
Okay, that's cool. I like this. Let's go through this, because again, I think like I said, we've always told people you're sitting on a gold mine, all right, but it's only as worth as how well the time that we put into it. All right, so let's go to the resolve, because that is kind of the first stage of it. So for everyone out there watching, listening, maybe don't kind of understand what we mean when we say resolve data. Let's start there.
Okay, perfect. So resolve is simply stated taking fractional data, pieces that you might have where somebody comes into the dealership. You're working with someone and you know pieces of information about them, but you don't have a full and complete view of them. So how can you resolve it and have a complete picture? So if you think of kind of like a visual of individual pieces of the puzzle, how do you add additional elements, additional data pieces to resolve it and give you the full picture of who that prospect or customer is, so then you can effectively market to them?
And so, yeah, and that even includes just, as simple as just updating the records, make sure they actually still have the vehicle. I mean, you think of like, everything from the first name, last name, email address, phone number, and cell phone number, and vehicles owned, think of, 20 some odd different columns of data. You may have 9 out of the 20, you might have 17 out of the 20, and then we don't even know if those columns are even updated in the first place. And I mean, look, here's the funny thing. I still get reminders to service a vehicle I sold, and I am not kidding you, 12 years ago. 12 years ago. Like, how do you even still have that?
Yes, it's so disappointing from a marketing perspective, where, I mean, I love auto, but I love the data, and I get so excited about the data and analyzing the information and how we can find insights and how we can use the data to improve everyone's business life. So email appends, right? As simple as like, remember when phone appends came out, right? Yeah. I want to put in I've got a phone number, but who's the person, right? Things as simple as that, resolving information so I have a full and complete view of the person.
Okay, so I got resolved.
Then got resolved.
Then next step.
All right, clean. And you touched on clean. Clean is about as basic as it gets, but there are so many changes on an annual basis where the volume of changes are staggering and just flat out overwhelming if you really look at them. How many new vehicles enter the market? How many vehicles go out of operation? How many used vehicles change ownership? And then you have marital changes, over 2.7 marital status changes every year.
Households getting bigger, more cars. Yep.
Exactly. Number of children being born. You have different lifestyle needs. Kids go to college. The number of emails that change, the number of phones that change. I mean, and now with technology, think of how often you're refreshing your phone,
Oh, yeah.
Right? So all of that is occurring on an ongoing basis. And unless you are cleaning, scrubbing that data on a regular basis, you're not going to have the current contact information to reach the customers for the complete view that you once had.
Yes. And that's where you see a lot of the waste probably shouldn't have to. I mean, I remember, when I first started in the business, doing my private sale, and getting a stack. And I'm like, my fingers can't get big enough. Like, I just, a monster stack of return mail. And I know each one of these things cost me like $3. I'm probably got like in a hand, $2,000+ worth of return mail. And it's funny. I hate to say I don't see this. I actually still see this happen sometimes. I was just at a good dealer friend's office. We were sitting there, I was waiting for him to finish up soon, grab lunch. And I just saw this stack. I was like, dude, what's that? Sure enough. And we're talking like a 15-year gap, and it's still happening. Anyways, I apologize. Go ahead, keep going.
No, you're absolutely right. And if we're all being honest, how many people are actually doing something with that stack of returned mail?
Exactly.
Where it's a bad address. You have the confirmation that this is not being delivered to the intended person, and nothing happens with it. You're just wasting that cost, that marketing dollar, for the piece, the time, the energy, all of it. I mean, so back to data. I love data, right?
We resolved it, we cleaned it, we've now added a little bit to it.
Yes. So I like to always put it into dollars and cents, right? So if we think about the marketing waste, so just from a digital perspective alone, so not even the offline activity, but just online activity. eMarketer estimated that there will be over $21 billion with a B dollars in digital advertising in the automotive space only in 2024. And as a whole, the overall average number that people will use is about 41% of waste for digital advertising.
Really?
And, I would
assume it was high. Right? That's crazy.
That's crazy. So just for easy math, okay, we're at $8 billion of waste. So don't
get me wrong. The networks don't mind it.
Yes, exactly.
they
right? They'll take the money.
They'll take the money.
Yeah. So the pieces that go into the garbage, the pieces that come back to you, the frustrated customers of, our house example, again, I've been there, as I said, 10 years. Yeah. I still get mail for the previous owner addressed to her. Really?
I know.
Just waste. Yes. So, all right. On to the third point, though.
Yes.
All right. So we resolved it, made it complete. We cleaned it. And then this is where it's going to get deep. We need to link it. Okay. And I like to think of this back to the house analogy of there's a lot of things you can DIY, right? Maybe you're going to paint this yourself. You might do some projects yourself. There's certain things, though, where you're going to want to bring in an expert. And this is an area where you're going to want to bring in an expert. So how can we link both offline as well as online pieces of data together to have one view of who that customer is? It gets really complicated really quickly, as you well know. And this is where people's eyes start kind of glazing over when we talk about clean rooms and where we talk about identity graphs and all of that. But
I think that's the biggest opportunity we have right now as an industry. I mean, and I think that anybody out there watching, listening right now, it is imperative that you guys find a data partner.
Yeah.
And then in fact, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole a little bit with you because I think there are dealers out there, the good operators out there that are looking for data partners. Actually, I'm curious to get your kind of your thought on this. What makes a good data partner?
Well, I think there's a couple of different things.
Okay.
One, and I mean, this is near and dear to my heart. Oh, I just beat on my mic. I'm sorry about that. Is what is the data source? A lot of people will say they have data. A lot of people have data. Where are they getting it? And what are they doing to maintain it? So are they an original source compiler? Is it that raw data that they're collecting, or are they taking data from second, third parties and piecing that together.
Yeah, they're really being a data aggregator where they're breaking down these silos. Because guys, what we have right now is we have silos of data. All right, you have data from your DMS, you have data from your CRM, you have data from your website, you have, and that's just first party, and that doesn't even layer on additional third layer of our third party data, and that's where we were talking about identity maps and other stuff that we can layer back on top of this. But no, you're 100% right. Let's say the first thing we have to kind of look at is like, how are they approaching the data? Is it theirs? Are they aggregating it from multiple locations? Like, what's their approach, right? Their data approach.
What is their data approach? So what is their source? Are they an original source compiler? That's the thing I would encourage everybody to ask. Are they an original source compiler? That's the buzzword. The other piece then is, how are they matching the data? So are they using a deterministic approach or a probabilistic approach? Now,
big difference there.
Really
Big difference. Yes.
And deterministic is, just for everybody out there listening to try to explain it quickly and simply, it is where you have the data, because you're an original source compiler, you have the first party information, so you know it to be true. It is valid, it is accurate. So you can make then connections that are accurate and deterministic of future activity. So the alternative is probabilistic, where probabilistic has its own value. You can get to some volume because you are using it from a probability perspective.
Yeah, you're making some very, very educated guesses. And not saying that is necessarily wrong, but it is as that. It is a crafted best guess.
Absolutely it is. And I think the best example for people to keep in mind is, we think of weather reporting. Weather reporting is a probabilistic approach. So that kind of sums it up.
Stick my finger that, it's going to rain.
Yeah.
No, it's probably a little bit more that goes into that. But yes. Okay, so that's what I should be kind of looking for in a partner. What is their approach and what is their number one source in that? Okay, so let's go back now to the workshop. Okay, so we're stage-wise, we've gone through resolving, we've gone through cleaning, we've gone through updating, and now we are augmenting?
Linked it. Yes, we linked it. So we're going to verify it and we're going to enrich it.
Yes.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention just one more thing on linking it, is making sure that you are working with a partner that is a trusted steward of that data. Compliancy, regulations are only increasing, and making sure how they're managing the data, how they're providing it to you is done in a completely compliant manner is so important. We can't underestimate that. So that would be the last thing I would.
Well, let's go actually a little bit down that rabbit hole, because it's a big topic right now. And because there is some legislation that's already come out, and there's going to be some additional legislation that's going to be coming out where, the onus of compliancy is going to be, and has been for the most part, on the dealers. And it doesn't seem to get talked a lot about. I think a lot of dealers kind of approach in the sense of like, hey, I do business with the company, so I'm just going to assume what they have is compliant. But it's actually us as dealers, it is our responsibility to ensure compliancy. We can't just expect it to be compliant, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I certainly don't claim to be a regulatory expert, right? I mean, there's just absolute experts in that space. But I think the biggest thing is, how are you using data? Is there truly permissible use?
Yes.
Right? And that the data that is being shared or the data that is being combined, is done so in a compliant manner.
Yes.
So how can the information be matched? Is it done in a de-identified way? Because sometimes for marketing purposes, we match things together, but we may not want to get back to identifying that actual individual. That's against the rules, right?
That's true.
Yeah. How can we do it in an effective, but most important, privacy safe and compliant manner?
Yes. And like I said, I think that is definitely something, if you're out there watching and listening right now, and if you found yourself a good data partner, again, that is a question that is an absolute must. How are they staying compliant? What are the processes that they're staying compliant to ensure that when we go to use our data for marketing purposes and enhancing our operational experience, that we're doing it right.
Yes,
right?
we're doing it right. Absolutely. So the fourth piece then, verify. Now you touched on this briefly. So verify, does the person own the vehicle? Where, as you said, you are still receiving marketing communication for a vehicle you have not owned in over 10 years.
Exactly.
Now, in my personal opinion, I think there's some opinions in the industry that still have the approach of any marketing is good marketing. And kind of that, as people will say from a marketing perspective, kind of the spray and pray. Like, let me just send it all out there and hope it gets to somebody. It might not get to the person I addressed it to, but it went to somebody.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we know that that's not actually effective. And I mean,
might as well be playing darts with a blindfold.
Yes, exactly. And from a generational perspective, I mean, as we're cruising down the strip here, I just saw a sign for Shania Twain's residency. And I mean,
are you excited? Does that make you excited?
I would love to see that. Yes, that is definitely showing my my age as well. But I would love to see Shania.
I'm with you. I'm a fan.
Yes, I would love to see Shania. And to quote Ms. Twain, that don't impress me much. I mean, the younger generations, I'm still going to say I'm young as an Xer, but X, millennials, Z, sending them a piece of mail, sending them a digital ad, sending them an email for a vehicle they don't own does not impress them. In fact, it does the opposite. They're like, this individual who sent this to me is out of touch.
Clearly doesn't know who I am.
They don't know who I am.
Or took the time to get to know me.
They didn't spend any time or effort on this. Why would I want to do business with them? They're obviously not paying attention.
Well, and I think that's a good point, right? Because we talk about the experience a lot. Look, it is the holy grail of what we're all trying to achieve as dealers is to create this amazing experience. And I'm always fascinated with the word experience. I'm fascinated with experiences because they happen regardless if you're intentional, if you're not intentional about it, then the experience is going to happen. And, to your point, it's little things like that can really just kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth, the experience. I mean, it's kind of funny because I actually kind of think of it the same way. I'm like that specific Nissan dealership that is still sending us emails and postcards about my wife's Nissan Versa, which we sold, I'm not kidding you, like 12 years ago. Yeah, you know what? I'm probably not going to do this. They clearly don't got their shit. Yeah, they're like
the same.
It's almost comical, right? It's like, come on.
Yeah. I have a dealer sending me communication on the Chrysler 300 that we sold 7 years and 3 children ago. They are obviously not paying attention to any of my life events, my activities, or my current ownership.
I actually do want to go down that rabbit hole, the life events, because we mentioned it, but I want to go a little farther down it because I think, again, I don't think people realize that is a data point that can be added to or later on top of what we currently have right now. And I think it's one of the coolest marketing opportunities and campaigns that you can run. It's just when somebody inside your dealer and your database has had or is about to have a significant life event. What an opportunity.
What
right?
an opportunity. Absolutely. I mean, we know that oftentimes people will buy a vehicle after they buy a house.
The stats are huge. Within 90 days, I think that's what I've heard. Like within 90 days, and if that's somebody in my database, I mean, I think that's a responsible thing we're doing. Congratulations on the house. Hey, here's a $40 HomeSense card or a Target card, and here's some special offers made specifically for you and how loyal of a customer you are. Like, I mean, if my dealer did that, I'm just saying, like, okay, fine, maybe it was $25. Some of you guys are already arguing with me on that, whatever it is, right? It's just like, hey, hon, we got like a housewarming gift from our dealership. Like, how cool is that?
How cool is that? They're paying attention. Yeah. All right, well, maybe when I go in and do business with them, they're going to pay that same level of attention to me as an individual. So I absolutely agree. Life events are such a huge thing. I mean, whether someone is in market for a vehicle There's a lot of different life events that we can take a look at. And that's where we start to get into kind of the data science of it as well.
Yes.
So perfect segue for the last point, enrich. Number 5, how can we enrich data to not only reach someone where they're currently located, but we reach them when and how they need to be communicated with. So I think the easiest way of thinking of it is if you think to your high school class, okay, at a high level, all the same generation, right?
Yep.
But think of the multitude of interests and hobbies and things that people would be interested in that other people within that same generation aren't interested in. And that's where lifestyle segmentation comes in, where how do we know what someone's buying style is, what their communication preference is, so I can effectively reach them how they want to be communicated with. Then we can layer in buying habits and additional insights as we chatted about with events.
Online triggers,
Yes.
stuff like that. Yes.
It gets so powerful. And with all of the technology that's available right now and all of the modeling that is out there, I mean, we can do affinity marketing as well. What is someone's affinity to purchase?
100%. And then you get device targeting, multiple devices. I heard a recent stat. I don't know how old this is, but the average household now has 9 connected devices. It's like, you can even target my entire household and the devices sitting inside my household. I mean, it's cool. When you get to the enrich stage, it's like almost like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, wait, I can do that? Wait, that tastes good. I want some more of that. Like, it's just, there's some really cool, and I think that space of data, that enrichment opportunity, it just continues to grow. There's just so many new things, so many things are coming out, that just like, it makes, marketing to my database, and these are my customers. I mean, you look, if you're out there watching, listening right now, you have spent thousands of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars to generate this community. And what a wonderful way to be able to communicate to them, market to them, engage with them. And by doing this, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a simple process. You definitely need a good marketing partner for this, or data partner for this, but I think it's just cool. It's just an exciting time right now for marketing.
It is so exciting. I get so excited about all the possibilities that there are, because it really, truly allows us to communicate when, where, and how the prospect, the customer, wants to be communicated with. And at this point, people are expecting that personalization. Not just my name on the mailer that came to my house, but truly know who I am and what I am interested in and how I want to be communicated with.
Well, it's like I've said it for over a decade, and now I feel like we actually have the tools to truly execute it. The best marketing strategy, take note of this if you're watching or listening, the best marketing strategy you can ever run is the one where the customer feels known by you, the company. And I get the warm and fuzzies when that happens. Like I love it, when I go to, another Marriott property and they know that I like, feather pillows and firmer bed and a higher level. Like, I love the fact that they know that about me, and that data is stored and they can take action on that data when I come. Like, it's just a great, so let's go into some of the possibilities. I think that's super cool. I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time too, but and I'm sure you've seen some really cool examples of some cool possibilities. What are some that you were just like, oh my gosh, that was really neat, that of utilizing this type of data?
There's so many. I think, first of all, it is really understanding who you want to communicate with. So really diving deep into your data. Now, not just your customer data and cleaning it and enriching it and making it whole, but who should you be marketing to in general? Yeah. So before you even select who that audience is, who are you targeting and why? Who are you attempting to reach, I should say? Who do you want to communicate with? And taking that with data-driven insights to inform your marketing strategy. and to inform your decisioning on your campaign. Then when you have an audience really looking at the results of it, I mean, it's simple marketing 101, but how many times do we get done with it? We're like, okay, done, the end, moving on.
I finished.
It happens all the time where it's like, okay, well, did they buy with you? Did they buy with your competitor? And drilling into those details, because a lot of times you can then fine tune, especially in the digital space, your campaign real time to improve the lift as it's live. And that's really exciting to me. I think that's just so incredibly powerful.
The possibilities are absolutely huge. And that's that's what I love about the automotive industry. This is what I love about marketing. It's just, it's like, but I think the timing right now, it's so funny. I've watched the past couple of decades I've been in the automotive industry, things have just kind of changed. And I feel like, now we're kind of in this decade of data. Where everyone's getting super serious about it. Everyone, some of the smartest operators out there are looking and partnering up with great data partners, and they're eliminating monstrous amount of waste. I mean, like you said, the average dealership's 40% of whatever you spend every year is going in the bucket. Might as well burn it, smoke, we'll attract more attention. But no, this is so cool. It's a really fun time. I know we're just about to pull up to the hotel. We're getting towards the end. But before I let you go, though, Kirsten, because this has been a lot of fun, and I can easily do this for another hour. For everybody out there watching, listening right now, who would like to learn more and kind of continue maybe bits and pieces of this conversation, what's the best way to do so?
All right, fantastic. Well, I could talk about this for hours as well. I could. So I think staying informed is so important. And as you said, we have from Experian Automotive, we've got tons and tons and tons of data. We absolutely can work with anyone in the industry to support their needs, but also we publish a lot of information that's free. So would we love to do business with everybody? Of course. But also we have 3 quarterly trend reports that we put out there. There's the state of the automotive finance market. There's market registrations. There's automotive consumer trends. All of those are free. They're published on a quarterly basis, and they provide some of these insights of what does the market look like from a financial perspective? What does it look like from a registration standpoint? Who are the consumers buying these vehicles? And how can you effectively market to them? This is one piece I'm really excited with. We just launched this last week where we did a collaboration with the Trade Desk. Mm-hmm. And based upon the Automotive Consumer Trends quarterly report, the Trade Desk takes a look at those in-market audiences for that vehicle segment and provides recommendations on how you can effectively reach those in-market shoppers.
That's cool.
So we'll be putting that out with them on a quarterly basis on an ongoing time frame.
What a great resource.
It's fantastic. And again, it's free. Where it's out there, it's available.
Look, you guys as a brand are great about that. That's what I've always loved about Experian.
Take advantage of it.
You guys are always so open. You got questions, we got answers. It reminds me of like the old Radio Shacks. You got questions, we got data answers. And no, I do. I encourage anybody out there watching and listening right now, definitely go to which website?
Yes. So we have Experian.com automotive data. And then also we will share everything on our LinkedIn channel. So we've got a lot of pieces out there for Experian, but you're going to want to follow Experian Automotive.
Awesome. Hey, everyone out there watching, listening, we really appreciate your time. This has been a great conversation with an amazing friend. You have yourself an amazing day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.